Hi, and welcome back to the All Scale Slot Car Den. I'm Dennis. I was recently having some fun with these two Carrera analog cars. I set up an analog track so I can run them around, just having some fun, just enjoying and watching them going around the track. And when I did, I noticed something that cracked me up, and I thought I'd make this video to share it with you because it just really cracked me up. And what I found may be old news to a lot of people, but it was news to me, and it may be news to someone else who doesn't realize this either. But I just thought I'd make this video to feature what I saw. And in case you're not familiar with these two cars, they're sort of representatives of the movie American Graffiti. These are Carrera analog cars, and they were released a long time ago. This 56 Ford Thunderbird was released in 2002, and this 32 Ford Hot Rod was released in 2007. And they were released in the Carrera analog age before digital became into existence. So they were never released as digital cars. Although this one was prepared for that digital switch. You could see it's got the little door there to add the digital chip, and I actually have an extra one right there that I'm going to install after this video, so this way I can run it on my digital track, where this one is the old analog style by Carrera, which you can kind of maybe do something with that digitally if you're so inclined, but that's not something I want to just tear into that car. I just rather keep it as it is, and I'll set up an analog track and just run them around. No need to race these cars. They're just fun to enjoy watching going around the track and reminiscing. Yeah, these are from the movie American Graffiti loosely because there's no like official license anywhere on them. This one here has a little saying on the box, saying on the case, it says, "Someone roaming the streets wants me." And if you remember the movie, if you did see the movie, that's something that the Richard Dreyfuss character says after he is in the back seat of a car and he looks over at a stoplight, and the car next to him pulls up, and it's this white T-Bird, and there's this beautiful blonde driving the car, and she looks over at him and he looks over at her, and he's got his window up, he's in the back seat, and she mouths out the words to him, "I love you." And he was like, oh my gosh. By the time he rolled the window down, she was gone. She was gone. He asked his friends to help look for him for the rest of the movie, look for her, and was never able to find her. I'm not going to give away anything more about that movie, but so that was a really interesting aspect of that. And if you look in here, that beautiful blonde kind of has a resemblance to Suzanne Summers, who was the blonde driving that T-Bird in the movie. And if you don't know who Suzanne Summers is, she went on to become Chrissy Snow in, I'm sorry, it escapes me. Three's Company, yes, one of my favorite shows of all time. Three's Company, yes. And there were other actors in that movie like Ron Howard and Cindy Williams, who went on to become stars in Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley. There was, of course, like I said, Richard Dreyfuss, who went into star in Jaws and other great movies. There was even Harrison Ford made an appearance in that movie, and Wolfman Jack was featured in that movie and heavily on the soundtrack, which is an amazing soundtrack. If you like late 50s, early 60s kind of rock and roll music, that is just for you. I would highly suggest to listen to that soundtrack, and you'll know all the songs probably, and you'll love all the songs, but those accompany that movie, and it's fantastic. So getting back to what I was saying here. Now, the license doesn't seem to be there for the American Graffiti cars. This is actually the 56 Thunderbird. It looks exactly as the movie car. So Carrera kind of skirted the issue, I believe. I'm not sure. without getting a license. They're doing everything up to having that license and displaying that license. So I'm not sure how that works. It must have been okay. I don't think there were any lawsuits involved for it, but maybe they did, have to pay off a little bit to have this similarity. I'm not sure how that works. That's To me, that's fascinating. And also with this other hot rod, it's in the movie. There's a character named John Milner, and he drove a car around similar to this, kind of similar. He had the five window coupe, and so as you could see, this is a little different. It's kind of in the same arena as his car, and of course, there's no indication that it's a movie car or supposed to be a movie car. But so these are just fascinating cars. Now, Carrera in the past have kind of skirted getting licenses for certain things. I know they're not, immune to getting licenses. They actually have the Ferrari license, which I'm sure is a tremendous cost to have that Ferrari license, that exclusive license for Ferrari, as well as Mario Kart and other things they have. So they're not, not inclined to have licenses, but in some cases they are. I know they had a couple of years ago they released some race trucks, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but one of the trucks was they show on the truck it's called Martina Racing, or Martina Racing, REHSING Racing, and it looks like a martini truck, same kind of colors, same kind of scheme as a martini, and I'm not sure what they did there. If it was just a sense of humor joke, I'm not sure if they have the martini license anymore. But when they have had martini cars, and they've released quite a few in the martini livery. So I don't know what it was there. Maybe it was just a lighthearted joke, or maybe they didn't have the license for that, and there was their way to skirt around that. So that's really an interesting thing. I think Dave Kennedy will probably have all the answers to these questions. But yeah, they also released another one in. It was kind of a race truck. It was like a John Player special looking kind of truck, black and gold, but it was called the Jens Peters Special, JENS Peter, PETER, and Special, SPEZL. So they're again kind of skirting the issue. I don't know if it was just a joke, lighthearted, or not having to acquire a license for it, and something that looks very similar to the John Player Special and the Martini trucks. So with that being said, this set of cars is fascinating. They're not actually a set. Obviously, this one was released about 5 years before this one. So they didn't come out at the same time. So there was no intent on having a set of like American Graffiti cars. It's just something that they came out with. And let me get now to what I noticed about this particular Milner car. The John Milner character drove a car similar to that. And if you could see here, first of all, this one, the Thunderbird shows this, which if you really decipher that, kind of stands for "Where were you in '62?" So where were you in 1962? Were you cruising the streets like the characters in the movie? So that was a nice nod to that movie. Movie was made in '73, but it was about the early '60s era and what teenagers experienced. I think it was a one night. The movie took place over one night into the next morning. And so that was a nice nod to that when I noticed that. But this one I just noticed, and let me show you here. Now this is a car that looks like the John Milner character's car, and in real life, let me tell you, first of all, in real life, you could see the license plate in that car, and the license plate was THX138, And that, if you're not aware of that, that was a nod to the director of the American Graffiti movie was George Lucas, and he had just finished a movie called THX 1138. And so having the license plate on the Milner car in the movie as THX 138 was a nice little nod to George Lucas. And I thought that's really cool. So I needed to look on the back of this car and see what the license plate was for this. And this, when I saw that, removed all doubts. And it says basically, not Milner. So that just really cracked me up. That puts an end to all doubts that this is not the Milner car, and that was the story. And so I just thought I'd share that with you. Just having fun with the cars, just noticing little things. Take out your slot cars every now and then. Look at the details on them, the fine little details, and you'll see things that are very interesting. Over time, you'll be more rewarded than just than what you'd think, because there's some very minute things going on. And enjoy your slot cars and just have fun with them. And thank you for watching. I'm going to go now and install that digital tip to run this thing on my digital track. And I somehow just dropped the mirror off of there, and I'm going to go looking for that after I do that. I take all the mirrors off my cars and I stick them in the back cases. I just put that back on here for this video, and I hope I don't lose it. I think it dropped on the floor somewhere. So that's another thing. Take your mirrors off, stick them in the back, because you're probably going to lose them if you got to drive them around and race. They're easy to come off, and they're a pain in the neck to put back on sometimes, a little fidgety. And if they have two mirrors, you need to know which goes on which side. You have to kind of play around with it a little bit. And that's something I don't like wasting my time with. I just like driving the cars around. So I'll take the mirrors off and put them in there. So just a little tip. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your slot cars and have a great day.